Hi everybody, I am Marvin Torres. I am very pleased to speak to you today. My presentation is going to be the overview and course plan for this tropical ecosystems course. My partner Ivane Cornejo is the other person who is going to be with us all around the course in this part. And we are going to try to explain you how the tropical ecosystems works. Very important to take in mind. Uh, you have to know how your ecosystem is already at home. In this way, you can compare your reality with the reality we would like to introduce to you and the reality we would like to show you. First of all, welcome. We are in a tropical country right now, hot place, pretty close to the equator, but also we are full of biodiversity. The biodiversity is rich in this country, as well all other countries of Central America and South Mexico and South America. But for this overview, I would like to introduce you not about just the biodiversity. I would like to explain you how we, the people working on biology and the people working on conservation, we should to see the problems at the present day. This overview will help you to understand the things in a frame of work. This frame of work is going to bring you into a philosophical field in which we would like to understand why we need to learn about all the technique, about all the ecosystems, and why all this information is going to be useful for our professional careers. One of the questions we would like to introduce is, which are the social issues we are facing? What we want to learn? What I already know about ecosystem on tropics? And more important, what are our objectives? All of these questions are made in a way that you need to understand environmental problems are not just environmental problems, are mostly social problems. Where these problems came from is one of the questions we would like to understand. When we understand where the problems came from, we can understand what possible solutions are on the area. Also, what we want to learn. We can't, even if we wanted, we can't learn everything. We need to focus in a specific part of the knowledge and become a professional in this specific part. That is the bottom line of the professions. But also what I already know. Sometimes people have in their minds some ideas. Some people have a lot of knowledge about the tropics maybe. Some people don't know anything maybe because they know the information. But important is you try to figure out what you already know. Is you understand that, it's going to be easier to you to understand the information we would like to introduce to you. And all objectives. Objectives is an important part of the knowledge because it tells you where you want to go, what you want to achieve, and what you want to learn in the course. It's not only to take the course because it's an obligation. It's more than that. It's to take the course to incorporate this information in your life, and after that you are going to be able to use this information as a professional. First of all, a global problem. Since our species rise, we have been in a wave of extinction of flourish. We are facing problems at the present day, but that is the first time in the humanity history where we, as a species, we face a problem. The answer is not. Even before the time we know on the books and all the cultural heritage, the humanity has been in environmental problems. Global warming, ice age, volcano explosions, droughts, all those problems have been there since the beginning of the humanity, more than 30,000 years ago. Since it's not the first time, that's meaning the humanity in some point have the knowledge to face that problem. But At the present day, the things are different. We have evolved faster culturally than biologically, making us as successful as we communicate better and innovate ways to use and making tools. That's meaning we have, at the present day, we are not like the caveman at all. We are not a society that is living specifically from the forest product and the way the most in the ancient cultures did it. All this paradigm in which we are right now more evolved culturally, meaning more problems sometimes. And this is why we would like to understand in this present course. We Homo sapiens and our earliest species we have colonized the world, immigrating to new lands. This is part of the problem. Why we are speaking about that in a tropics course? Well, immigration has been an important part of the cultural advance on tropics too. And I say our earliest species because we haven't been the only species who is all around the world. Other species are with us, and these species also companion us to be successful. Horse, dogs, cats, for example, are an important part of a cultural evolve. And if without these species, we haven't been in this place as the way we are right now. I am not telling you that without them we are not going to colonize the world, but I want to let you know the way we have been doing that is not the same without that species. We use our cultural and social skills to create alliance, to find sources for food, water, and energy. And these cycles, the food, water, and energy, have important implications in the way we have been using the land and natural resources. Ecologically, we separate from other species in this way, using the environment, not living within the environment. We are not part of the nature. We have created new ecosystems, the urban ecosystems, and we destroy when we create these new ecosystems. With success, with a paradigm of construction, where destruction is part of the formula. We destroy and then we construct. And this is why, at the present day, we are having problems in the environment. And important to know, when I say problems with the environment, I mean problem for the humanity. All the species living on forests and natural places, they are not facing problems, they are in extinction, which is different, because we understand, we know there are some problems. But we move from country to country, we move to new continents, we colonize new continents, and then we destroy all the natural resources to use them and not to be part of them. Some people will say, well, we need to return to the caveman era. It's not the answer, really. Some people try to do that. The eco-anarchists, they try to live into the forest, they try to live with all the environment around and try to use the sources in a more smart way. But we understand that is something that is not happen to everyone. Not many people are going to do that. And we can't get back in this way. But for that reason, to understand this destruction in our construction and the way we are doing are going to help us to be more smart in taking the decisions. And for the first, we need to understand what ecosystems we are living, what ecosystems we are destroying, and what ecosystems we are using. I'm gonna give you an example in Nicaragua. In the red square, we have Morazán, a place that is already part of this course. What happened there? In 1984, that used to be Padre Ramos in Morazán. That is a mangrove ecosystem. You can see the river, you can see all the creeks feeding the main river, and you can see the wetland from in this image. What is happening at the present day? It's happening this. Compare the former figure with the present figure. You can see all the destruction of Morazán because the shrimp. They are using the mangrove ecosystem to produce food. They are using the mangrove ecosystem to produce economic activities. and they are using the mangroves ecosystem to people to live. But compare how they look and how they look now. Some people say, well, they are creating jobs, they are creating jobs, they are bringing new opportunities to people, and they are making food. And this is totally true. I am not telling that is bad. But the way we are doing is that create problem. We need to change our mind. Or, more important, we need to stop about these activities who are destroying the ecosystems. And tropics, because they are rich ecosystems, they make a challenge when you are doing studies on tropics. Also happened that we live longer than we used to do 500 years ago. We are bigger, fatter, we fight for the viruses, our food is available in many ways and presentations. But we are too much people. We consume a lot. We are consumers in an unsustainable pattern for the planet and creating problems in the environment. We are looking for the immortality, I will say. We don't want, you know that more than 200 years ago, or maybe 100 years ago, the people don't live more than 60 years. In some population, more than 40 years and 45 years. Now, we live longer than that. We are bigger. If you are bigger, you need more food, of course. We fight viruses. So the way the population grows and the way we become more numerous in the planet is safer. So we have an expectative to live longer, to be bigger, and to use more resources from the environment and from the around. And that's why, for some scientists, to reduce the population is the best way to reduce the environmental problems. That could be an easy solution, of course. But this solution is not on the table right now. We are the people we are. We are the people that is already living in this planet. And there is not any way we are going to reduce this population in the next 50 years. Since we are not going to do that at the present day, we need to find solutions, real solutions for this present population. So, talking about the same, we need more area per country to produce water, food, and energy, and this is because the way we consume. And due to the lack of danger and predators, we became our own predator. What that mean in the practice? Meaning we kill ourselves as a species. Change the paradigm where we kill ourselves as a species and humans killing other humans is the first smart way to understand we are important to the forestry. Believe me, when we understand the value of the humanity, we understand the value of the nature. And in the other way, when you understand the value of the nature, we understand the value of the humanity. But we are too much people. And that is the problem. When we are too much people, we need to fight for the resources. And that is when we need to fight ourselves. And the environmental problems and not the environmental problems are basically spiritual, moral, and ethical problems, of course. Because even though in many countries we know many things are forbidden because are wrong for the environment or are wrong for the species, some people don't stop. If you got the money, if you got the power, you use that money and power to obtain the resources you want. What happened on tropics, even Africa, Asia, or America, many species are under the trade. This trade, many times, is illegal. The illegal trade is common. And why happen? Happen because somebody want to pay for that trade. Somebody want to pay for the rhinos, somebody want to pay for the macaws, somebody want to pay for the tigers' skins. And for that reason, we are destroying the forest. Even though we have regulations and laws, some people are going not to obey the law. And that is when the spiritual, moral, and ethics problem happen. As I used to say, knowledge is like the software, but to work in our body, to work in our minds, in our heart, is the hardware. We need to improve as human. Knowledge helps us a lot, but we need to work in ourselves too before to work in other problems. And the development also have an important differences between the cultures and nations. That is why it is important to understand all the social backgrounds and ecosystem and countries. In this map, you got in the blue what country have more resources, what countries are more development, and you got in the middle, on the tropics mostly, the countries that are underdeveloped. This is inequality create tensions too, and these tensions create problems. How we fight that? We fight that in many ways. This is not part of this course the way we are going to fight that differences, of course. But it's truly important to understand that when we want to learn about the ecosystem and why things are happening on the ecosystems in this way. And this is something we are going to see during this course. During this course, we are going to see the tensions and the problems on the ecosystem, on tropical ecosystems. And to understand why this inequality, why these people who is using the environment in no a smart way, and how the people need to change, are going to help us to give some answers that are going to be important to find solutions in a real world at present day. Objectives are to understand the complexity of integrating ecological and economic issues and sustainability, to develop an understanding of biodiversity and dynamic of the ecosystem of Nicaragua, to describe different stakeholders' relationship with natural resources, understand the complexity of integrating ecological,